Welcome to On Point. I'm Kartikeya Sharma, and today has been a very, very hectic day. And when I say very, very hectic day, unprecedented things have happened in India. But before we get into the bare bones of the news, let me tell you we have two on points. And on point one is we look at Udhayanidhi Stalin's arrest over Remark against Trisha. While the Madras High Court has granted him station bail, has Vijay moved strengthen Udhayanidhi's position as the leader of the opposition in Tamil Nadu? And did Vijay, as CM, cross the line on Trisha? Has he ended up reinventing Udhayanidhi Stalin? And on point two, we examine a controversy that could shake India's liquor policy industry. The FSSAI has accused some of the country's biggest liquor brands of misleading consumers by using external flavoring instead of traditional maturation and of making questionable age-related claims. And now let's take a quick look at the headlines. Aam Aadmi Party's Supremo Arvind Kejriwal ends protest march over E20 petrol after he placed the petition inside a Delhi police van. Kejriwal warns of a bigger protest if E20 policy not withdrawn. Punjab Congress infighting spills onto the streets with posters and slogans shouting target Bhupesh Baghel and Charanjit Singh Channi. Amrinder Singh Raja Warring refuses to resign despite mounting pressure. Siddhivinayak Temple Trust rejects allegation of irregularities in donation fund, saying embezzlement case relates to previous committee. The trust says 9 people have been arrested and a CID probe will be sought. And now let's talk about the Trisha remark, which has snowballed into a major political controversy. Udhayanidhi Stalin was arrested over his remark against Trisha. Now, Stalin, though, has got relief from the Madras High Court to be released on station bail, but he's still being taken to a different thana for the so-called Puchtach. Now, HC has also directed Udhayanidhi must cooperate with the police probe. TVK complaint accuses Udhayanidhi of making double-meaning remarks. TVK alleges Uday's remarks were in indirect reference to actor Trisha. Police case includes allegation of outraging the modesty of women. Now, my question is very, very simple before I go to my guests, before we get into the legality of it. Is this a overreach by Vijay, who is a Gen Z, I would say, Chief Minister who represents Gen Z sensibility? He's a senior, he himself is not Gen Z, but he represents something younger in Tamil Nadu politics. I mean to say, when a case of bad language, inappropriate language, even a vulgar language, does it require arrests? What difference is that when the same opposition is criticizing the so many supporters of Prime Minister Modi for using that language against Jantar Mantar protesters? Or this other way around, BJP is saying that, okay, you have the democracy and right to free speech, but why did you abuse the Prime Minister? And the cases had to be withdrawn because there was public pressure and the young children spoke words which I even cannot mention against the Prime Minister. Is the shoe on the other foot? Is the shoe on the other foot this time around? So I think it's a pretty much complex issue. And to decode it, is he getting the script wrong? Is he is he creating a sort of a reinvention for Udhayanidhi Stalin? That's a political outcome. Doesn't he have a thin skin? It's politics, after all. People say so many things. People say so many things to so many people. But arrest? Is India or is Indian politics getting a thin skin? On this issue, I'm joined by Nirmal Abraham, political analyst, Shekhar Vijayan, political analyst, V. Subramaniam, again a political analyst, Sasi Rekha, spokesperson TVK, and advocate Sonali Shah. I thank all of you for joining me. But let me first straight away go to Sasi Rekha first. Thank you, madam, for joining me. Do you think that detention was necessary for an inappropriate speech or a vulgar speech or a double meaning speech or something which has hurt the sensibilities of people? Do you think this sort of action was really required, madam?
Unable to hear.
My question, did you hear my question, madam?
Yeah, will you please repeat the question?
My question is simple. Was this overreach required for inappropriate, bad speech or whatever it is? Was this really required? Detention? Someone being detained, yes, leader of opposition?
Good evening, everybody. Yes, of course. There is no room for second thought. It is a detention or arrest today. Whatever it might be, how we can say whatever it might be, this is the rule of law. TVK government is maintaining the rule of law. This court has been said today is it's not a verdict. Bail is not a verdict. Yeah, even getting station bail doesn't mean Vijay is innocent or acquitted. Yesterday, and overall 23 minutes of protest against Kaveri or whether Mekathot issue, if he spoke about anything in that issue, he is having guts to speak about Mekathot issue. This is not a mistake of Udhayanidhi Stalin. This is Gene's mistake. Why? Because it's a paternal grandfather, Mr. Karunanidhi, doing the same thing. That means abusing women and using filthy languages, disgusting languages, obscene languages, even in the assembly also. That is what we are telling. And then his father, Mr. M.K. Stalin, also doing the same. Whether Modi ji and Madam former Chief Minister Puratchi Talavi Amma's meeting, he is also criticized disgusting things they were doing again and again. Likewise, Udhayanidhi Stalin also doing the same thing yesterday. This is the way to asking the water issue. This is the way. First of all, DMK is having any guts to speak about these things. They were lost all state rights, whether it might be NEET or it might be Jallikattu or it might be Mullai Periyar River or it might be Kaveri River issue or it might be Meghathot issue. In the past 5 years, they have do something potential or something materialistic things in these things where they are ruling. They don't have any guts to speaking about these things. But instead of this, he is speaking about such a filthy languages, such a third-rated fellow. Is he a low leader of opposition?
Madam,
leader of
my
opposition
question, my question was slightly different. Though you had spoken of the time,
unwanted things in the yesterday protest.
Madam, you made your point,
yes?
but my question was slightly different. And, I would just like to get in Nirmal Ibrahim now. Nirmal, are Indian politicians having a thin-skinned day? I mean to say, are we having a thin-skinned day that people are going to go to jail for? And I'm not defending Udhayanidhi Stalin. I'm not defending him. But I'm saying, is this what is going to happen every time when someone goes just, out of step? Nirmal?
I mean, assessing it from a very objective point of view. I know it's hard to assess something like this from an objective point of view, but he did not go there. First of all, Udhayanidhi did not go there with the intent of making a speech about Vijay and Trisha and their relationship. He blurted it out at the spur of the moment, which is still a mistake, as you said. It is still a mistake. But does he have to go to jail for that? No. But I think the whole strategy of TVK here is to make this a conversation and a discussion as we're having right now so that it remains in the news for the next couple of months or so until DMK apologizes, so that it can be used against DMK. Because DMK, as you know, when you take all the parties in Tamil Nadu, DMK has the unfortunate bad name of being a women thrasher. Look at, A. Raja, the former union minister, Ponmudi, the former minister, S. Sadiq, a former spokesperson. So there are many people within DMK that have time and again made remarks about women, obscene remarks, double meaning jokes about women, actresses, politicians. And Vijay probably just wants to stamp that name because he knows for a fact when you look at history, when you look at the history of DMK, every time they've made such a remark or an attack against a woman, that has actually backfired. Jayalalitha in 1989. You know what? They literally manhandled her in the assembly, went on to lose the election in 91. And you know how many seats they won in 91? 2 seats. DMK of the 234 seats, they only won 2 seats. So it was that bad. So he knows for a fact that it can backfire. And that's probably the only purpose. But what surprises me here is, unlike in the other cases that I mentioned, whether it's Raja, Ponmudi, Sadiq, Radha Ravi, in those cases, DMK came up with the political correctness of coming out and either apologizing or expelling these people from the party or expelling them from their position or suspending them from the party, which has happened in all the 4 cases that I mentioned. This time, because he is the leader of the opposition and the son of a generational, whether it's Karunanidhi or Stalin himself, they're not willing to apologize. I think the right thing to do for DMK is not to make a big deal out of it. Apologize, because people we hear that, understand that it was a mistake. He blurted it out at the spur of the moment. You can just apologize and get this conversation done with. That is the right thing to do for DMK.
Okay, let me get Advocate Sonali Shah here. Sonali, there are two things here. And I'm not even going to use the word modesty of a woman, because that in itself is a very patriarchal word when you use the word modesty of a woman. I'm just using a very gender neutral word here, Sonali. I'm saying that when you use words which are out of line, inappropriate in public, and India is a modern country, people have partnerships. I mean, so the electorate accepts it, no one has the right to say anything. So when people say things like that, and when the arrests take place, or someone is taken around and demonstrated, is it a larger reflection of the way our political parties and politicians are behaving? Using the hard end of the law and the policing machinery to to tame, put in line your political opponent. And again, at the caveat, I'm doing it again and again. I object to what Udhayanidhi Stalin has said. But I was also aghast at what happened in terms of the LOP getting picked up.
See, I absolutely agree to what you're saying. See, abuse of police machinery is not something new in our country. We have seen extreme actions being taken even during the CGP protest that happened. That kind of action was not required under students. Students were not required to speak against the political leaders like that. And even here in our country, I would say, especially in the southern India politics, it has become a trend to make such misogynistic comments. And if we see, as Mr. Nirmal himself said, that there has been trend, there has been consistent situations wherein DMK has passed such misogynistic comments against women. Don't you think we need a situation where a full stop to this needs to be put? If there can be a decorum of working at a workplace, we have a legislation called Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace. Why can't there be a decorum in political speeches? I agree that political speeches are protected. I agree that the sections that have been levied as of now are all majorly bailable, and whatever are non-bailable, even then in them the imprisonment is less than 7 years. So yes, the correct procedure was that a notice for appearance had to be sent for interrogation, and nothing beyond that was required. But in our country, we have always seen that the power is abused and misused. Be it VIP culture in temples, be it using political police machinery to exert pressure and power. That is a standard. So if a norm has to be set, it has to be set across the country. The political parties need to understand that the machinery is to protect the citizens of India. It is not meant to be abused like this. So yes, very much the way the entire fiasco turned out, it was inappropriate. But the comments made by Stallion was also incorrect, and we need to develop a culture in our country wherein people can put in their words sensibly, respectfully. There is never any reason to pass such lewd remarks against anyone. I would not restrict it to a particular gender. I would say even if it's a remark being made against men, it is inappropriate. You should always watch what you are saying. Your language should be taken care of, because you are standing on a platform. You are being watched by masses. So every word that you say has to be measured and weighed. Because you are the one who are representing.
I completely agree with you. Misogyny is an issue. Today is not the day when I talk about 400 crore ki, 200 crore ki girlfriend statement that was made way back in 2014. I don't want to go back to it. But let me quickly take opening comments from two other gentlemen who have been waiting. Then I'll go to TVK spokesperson. Mr. Subramaniam, I completely agree with Sonali that, there is misogyny in Indian politics. I completely understand that, this misogyny is so pervasive. It cuts across political parties. It cuts across region. It cuts across ethnicity. But is this the way to treat misogyny, Mr. Subramaniam?
See, in India, we Hindus believe the karma theory. In a couple of years back, what the DMK then Minister Udhayanidhi Stalin spoke about eradicating the DMK. Don't take me wrong. DMK means dengue, malaria, kosu. He has equated that to Sanatana Dharma. Okay. So you want to eradicate Sanatana Dharma, which is equal to like eradication of dengue, malaria, kosu. So no action was taken. Only we appeared before court, and court has, he has apologized in the court. No action was taken. But the karma theory is paying back. Though I don't agree or subscribe to Joseph Vijay's action today, but his intention is good. Intent to punish him is good, but implementation is not. Today it's failed. But at least it will give a at least sense of fear to the political parties or the political leaders who will not abuse in the public. Okay, whether it is a 5-year-old baby or 50-year-old aged women or 80-year aged women, doesn't matter. We have to give a respect to the fellow human being. That too, we worship women as a mother of our country. Okay, how can one person having a constitutional post, he is a leader of opposition. So you may say that I have not said that word, but you have influenced the people who are assembled over there. Based on your request, those people have come and you have triggered them to utter one word. Based on that, you picked up the word and there's the double meaning of the word was coined. Okay, you cannot run away from that mistake. Okay, so but I think what action has been taken by Vijay is trend setting now. So another thing is,
Okay.
I think the
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, sir, because I have not gone to Vijay. Vijay, before, because I know Sasi needs to leave. Sasi, I'll be coming to you. Just wait here. Vijay, do you think that Vijay has gifted Udhayanidhi Stalin, which even Stalin couldn't gift him? A political arrest, public tamasha, a sort of a political reinvention for a dynast. ये विजय ने गिफ्ट कर दिया क्या? एक रिटर्न गिफ्ट हो गया, because he wouldn't have been able to, he's a dynast. Udhayanidhi is a dynast. You have arrested him. You have given him things which sort of a first timer gets it. Someone who's trying to break into the politics. So in terms of politics, your comments, sir.
Is this for me or for?
This is for Vijay. Vijay. This is for you, Shekhar Vijayan. This is for you.
It's for me. Okay. I was thinking Vijay. So, first of all, good evening to all my fellow panelists. See, I think the real problem is the statement which was made by Udhayanidhi Stalin, which was very wrong, very offensive, and it was not correct at all. And we have seen politicians of all parties doing it in the past. They've been all getting away with it. Somewhere you need to draw a line in the sand and say, this is not correct. We are living in the 21st century. These are all elected representatives. Everybody's watching them. Now, for what Udhayanidhi Stalin did and how he passed a remark, I think it was a very snide, very sarcastic, very sardonic remark which he passed. And if his party cadres were making the statement, he could have stopped the conversation midway and asked them to focus on the Kaveri issue. But I think, the way he smiled, the way he reacted, spoke about it. Now, how Vijay reacted was overreaction, I feel, in terms of getting the LOP imprisoned. But you have to also understand that as a leader of opposition, you hold a very credible position. As a LOP, you need to be very careful of what you speak, how you speak, what you represent. It's not about, Udhayanidhi Stalin talking for himself. He represents what DMK stands for, right? In terms of the culture of the party. Now, as your fellow were telling, they've always been speaking like this. I think it's a thing. I think it's a syndrome which is there across all the parties. And they all tend to get away with it because nobody questions them on this, about how they can even speak in this manner. It speaks a lot about the culture. It speaks a lot about the fact that they are arrogant about it. And the way Vijay reacted, I think he overreacted. But I think he's also set a precedent in terms of this cannot happen again. And it should not be just about LOP or scoring brownie points with the opposition. It's about setting an example and telling that this is not done. There is a certain Lakshman Rekha you don't cross. And I think that is what is more important about how do you make sure that these conversations do not get into family, do not be derogatory, do not be inflammatory. It should focus on the conversation itself, which is about the Kaveri water issue, which is a big problem for them. That's what they should focus on. But then he deviated from that and went the other way. And now, like you said, he is trying to play the sympathy card because he's a dynast and he gets into the police station. It helps him in the long run. But at the end of the day, I think what's important as leaders, they need to focus on what is really important in terms of the conversation and not making it derogatory and inflammatory, and also doesn't speak against women or men. I think that's not required because millions of people are watching them. Their credibility is at stake. We are discussing this at prime time. And that goes without saying that, they really need to be careful of what they speak. There should be a line in the sand which is drawn from now on, which makes sure that they are accountable for this.
It's not as if our electorate might be very diverse, Sasi, but it's not as if they're politically uneducated. In this country, if you recall, Sasi, Atal Bihari Vajpayee in a press conference said, अविवाहित हूँ इसका ये मतलब नहीं कि मैं ब्रह्मचारी हूँ. Nothing happened in this country. Atal Bihari Vajpayee went on to become the Prime Minister, and he said this. In this country we have had people with multiple marriages and they have been accepted. In this country the partnerships have been accepted. 10 years ago, two Congress leaders, they came under such trivial attack because he ended up marrying someone very younger. So I do understand, Sasi, when you say that there is misogyny, and I completely accept that there is misogyny and patriarchy in this politics. But I would say, madam, is this the only way to correct this misogyny, patriarchy, and this male stupidness? This is to you, TV. Sasi Rekha, this is for you. This question is for you, madam.
Please repeat the question. I have some
My
problem in my
question
life.
is this the only way to treat male stupidity? Is this the only way to treat patriarchy? Is this the way we get to treat this stupidness whereby we make fun of women?
Do you asking about Vijay? Do you asking about Udhayanidhi's response to these kind of things? I never ever seen this kind of LOP or this kind of politician. He's a dynastic politician. He is doing. That is what I said in the first time also. Before that, I started as I said here before. He is the gene of. It's not a mistake of Udhayanidhi. He is the gene of Udhayanidhi. That is from his grandfather and from his father. As somebody says here, like former Minister Ponmudi and former Minister A. Rasa and their spokespersons and their workers and their orators like Sivaji Krishnamurti, Saidi Sadiq, all were doing again and again. Deliberately they are doing the things. Deliberately they are doing such kind of things, abusing languages, troublesome matters and unsavory languages using in the public forum and public forum against women. This is what the action that should be taken today. That is in TVK government. I appreciated this. I strongly, as a woman and as a lawyer and on behalf of TVK and on behalf of Tamil Nadu women, I strongly condemn this again and again. This kind of things which has been pulled out from the mouth of Udhayanidhi Stalin. We don't have in TVK government. We don't have any malified intention to punish these kind of things and to punish his. We don't have any malified intention to make such inquiry or to make such arrest. We need this. These are all the expectations of a Tamil Nadu women. These are all the expectations of TVK women. These are all the expectations of public society, public forums. All women will feel like this. This is the needy and unwanted. This is the needy and necessary steps have been taken to this kind of things, which it might be from, which it might be may come from anybody. May come from. It's not only Lopel. Leader of opposition. Not only from opposition leaders. Not only from other party leaders, not only from other aligned party leaders. It should be avoided at anything. But deliberately, Udhayanidhi Stalin, Mr. Subramanian said, this is Sanatana Dharma, and in other things also, in previous cases also, he is using abusing languages in Mrs. Sashikala also. In the previous years, it's the same person, Udhayanidhi Stalin, is doing the thing again and again. That is what we have.
Do you think? Are you saying it's going to backfire on DMK? Are you saying it's going to backfire on?
Backfire for DMK, and now they are doing unwanted protest also. DMK is doing today. They are smashing and they are abusing again in the roads. The general publics also they are damaging barricades also. They are going to beat in the general public and police also. What is this? These are all the things to make in DMK. This is the in Tamil we have to say this is the worker. This is the disciplinary thing they have to learn from the DMK leaders. Then they were saying that we are the 50 years of party. We are the ruling party here before many times. We are from the 60 years dynastic politics. What kind of things they had been taken? These are a very undisciplined party, undisciplined LOP. Unfortunately, we are getting this kind of persons, but we don't want this kind of persons hereafter. In the only one thing I want to say and express, this is not getting bail is not a relief. Getting bail is not means Udhayanidhi Stalin is innocent or he is acquitted. In the legal phenomenon, one thing is I want to remember: bail is the right and jail is the exception things only. Not Udhayanidhi Stalin is innocent or he is acquitted. He is deliberately doing the mistake again and again. TVK will never leave this kind of persons.
Okay, Nirbal, let's get political about this entire thing, you know. What sort of ramification will it have? You know, when you gave an example of what DMK did with Jayalalitha in the assembly, Mr. Karunanidhi was paid back in the same coin. I was in the newsroom, I remember. I was in the newsroom and he was being picked up by the policemen, you know, and you know, everything went completely haywire and the Karunanidhi was shouting. Those are iconic images. So he got paid back in the same coin. So I have seen that in Tamil Nadu politics, everything everything comes around, you know, it's a big circle. So something like this has happened, you know, so I'm 100% sure, you know, there will be a reaction to it in future. So in your opinion, right now, what is the public mood on what has happened?
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Things like this have happened time and again in Tamil Nadu politics. But the difference in the cases that you mentioned, whether it's Jayalalitha being arrested in 1996, her returning to power and arresting Karunanidhi late night at 2 a.m. I still remember watching it live in 2001, and then arresting his son Stalin in 2003 for attending a protest. So all of these were actually high stakes, grand corruption scams that we're talking about. Jayalalitha was targeted for the color TV scam. Karunanidhi was targeted for the flyover scam. So which involved a lot of money and stakes. But here the difference is, as someone in the panel mentioned, it is about setting a precedent so that nobody, regardless of which party you belong to, regardless of who you're speaking against, whether it's man or woman, a Tamilian, non-Tamilian, child or an old lady, it doesn't matter. There is a precedent that needs to be set politically. And this is Udhayanidhi that we're talking about, someone who's 49 years old, someone who has read, understood, and listened to politics for generations through his father and his grandfather, you know, who ruled a party that ruled Tamil Nadu for the last 7 decades. If you don't understand how to speak in a public space, in the generation of social media, where you know that this will be circulated around the globe, the first thing he should have done to correct this mistake was to come out and say, sorry, it was as simple as that. The mistake he made is, look, I listened to this at least a dozen times after listening to these comments. He said, this is not what I meant. I listened to it 12 times at least. And as a normal human being, there are only 2 or 3 ways I could think of it. And the first way I thought of it was bad. And that's how most people think of it. So I think the best thing to do is to close the conversation by apologizing. DMK has done it in the past. Even when Sadiq, who's just a spokesperson, Sadiq was a spokesperson. You know who came out and apologized to Sadiq? Kanimuri came out and apologized to Sadiq on behalf of all the women. So that, you know, that's something that they should have done to avoid this. And Vijay, I think it is not a personal vendetta. This is not a high stakes grand event. It's something, it's a correction tactic, I would say. And DMK should not fall into the trap of making this a huge issue, protesting in the streets because they're protesting for the wrong reasons. If they're protesting for the wrong reasons, and it will backfire.
It will backfire. Vijay, do you think it's going to backfire? Okay, Vijay, are you there with me? I think there's a bit of a technical problem with Sonali. Do you think it's going to backfire? Sonali, are you there with me? Sonali, please, do you think that it's going to politically backfire, or does it or please unmute yourself, or it doesn't matter at all?
Yeah, sorry. So backfire is something I would not really comment upon because that's a very political issue that needs to be discussed by political analysts. But I would very well like to say that under any circumstances, whatever is being done is to be done within the ambits of law. So yes, the Chief Minister is trying to set a precedence, which is very well welcomed. And we in the country like ours, we need to set that precedence. But on the other hand, we need to remember that we are a democratic sovereign country. We are bound by the Constitution of India, and under all circumstances, the actions of anyone, any political party, any position holder has to be within the ambits of law. Every time the law is breached, the Constitution of India is breached, we need to weigh both the sides.
Okay. I think that's a very very important point. Let me play out a couple of bites we have, and then we start taking closing comments.
Agrees that it was an obscene remark. I never heard of that too from a very senior leader. So definitely the government has a responsibility to ensure that no one can escape the rule of law after committing such a despicable crime. So that's why the government has taken a very firm action on that.
Anyone has excessed the limit of speaking, and if it hurts anyone, they can file a defamatory case, of course, and it should be tried in the court of law. There is a procedure. But all of a sudden, the leader of opposition, a very reputed person and a popular leader in a party, has been taken into custody. Before taking it to custody, as per the 41A of earlier CRPC and 35.3 of BNSS, a police officer should give a notice in advance before making any arrest of any person.
Okay, let me straight away go to Mr. Subramaniam. Mr. Subramaniam, do you think that these are the issues which have an electoral impact? I really want to know. I hope gender has an electoral impact. As a man, I feel that gender should make a difference. But generally, gender only makes a difference, and I'm not saying it any derogatory way, when it comes to these Labharti politics. I hope it makes a difference when it comes to propriety, values. Do you think that this will really make a difference in long run, sir?
Definitely. See, DMK used to do this kind of unnecessary talks and unnecessary criticism over women and all. So we can go countless. But in case of other parties, you can count it in within hand, maybe 1 or 2 times, right? But definitely, if the arrest, whatever they have done, if it is condemnable by the other party, mainly the DMK, then we should amend the law. Okay, so that if you amend the law, if anybody criticize women or abuse women in the public, okay, so then that should be a stringent law, maybe a 1 year or 2 year imprisonment without any inquiry. Then you come and present your case. If you are able to prove that innocence, then you can be you can come out of jail. But I think this has the strong message has to go. In the past, we never had this kind of arrest or police taking a strict actions. That's why people have been, DMK has been grown like this. You come from the top, whether it is Karunanidhi or Stalin or R.S. Bharati or Ponmudi, the list goes on and goes on and goes on. Nobody took the stringent action, including the central government. When one sitting Chief Minister was arrogantly talking about Prime Minister saying that he will tear PM into the pieces. No action was taken. So this is a lesson I think TVK government has given to the entire nation. If you ask me, the entire nation, all political parties should learn the lesson from now on and not talk anything ill about the people, abusive languages. Let's learn the lesson from today.
Okay, let me put it just journalistically, Nirmal, before I come to Sasi, has Vijay drawn the line on the Trisha case, or has Vijay crossed the line on the Trisha case? Has he drawn the line? Lakshman Rekha खींच दी है या Lakshman Rekha cross कर दी है? I know it's a journalistic question, but I know you will be able to take it.
Well,
I think draw कर दी है या line पार कर दी है?
Well, I think, judging from history, I would say if it wasn't for Vijay, Trisha would have drawn the line. I'll give you an example. Nayanar Nagendran, BJP state head, made a remark right before the election about Trisha and Vijay. He said Vijay should get out of Trisha's house first before entering politics. And Trisha's legal team handled that. So even if it wasn't for Vijay, I think Trisha's legal team would have stepped in and handled it. So I think the line would have been drawn anyway. The question is who drew it. Whether it's Vijay or Trisha, I'm glad that if they're able to set a precedent, it's great for the state of Tamil Nadu and for the country. Globally.
Okay. So, Sasi Rekha, has Vijay drawn the line on Trisha, or has he crossed the line on Trisha?
What kind of a question is this? This is he's the Chief Minister for People's Chief Minister for Tamil Nadu. Even you can able to see this. There are 9 charges against Udhayanidhi Stalin. The complaint has been launched at said allegations are allegations of 9 kind of allegations and other like obscene matters and filthy languages using that kind of derogatory comments. 9 charges and 9 cases in the sexual harassment, protection of women from sexual harassments, done this kind of harassment scenes and IT Act. They are also Amendment Act 2002 of Section 4. In this way, there are 9 sections or 9 charges are put on the Udhayanidhi Stalin. That is what we are taking. The normal what government has been done. That is what going. There is no any particular intention, or there is no any malified intention, or there is no any one-sided. This is the unwanted question. I think he is the CM for everything.
My job as a journalist is to ask the question. Your job as a spokesperson is to say no. I don't want to answer that question. Mera सवाल बहुत सरल है. It's a very simple question, Sohani. There's a word in Hindi called Lakshman Rekha.
I don't know Hindi.
Ramayan. It is part of Ramayan. तो मैं वो सवाल पूछ रहा हूँ. क्या उन्होंने लक्ष्मण रेखा खींच दी है या वो लक्ष्मण रेखा क्रॉस कर दी है? अगर आपको लगा मैं गलत बोल रहा हूँ, you can say no, Karthik, you are getting it wrong. If I am right, you say you agree. If you say no, I don't want to answer it. This is a democratic program. I'll take it on my chin, madam. No problem.
This is a very fire-burning problem is going on. This is against all over Tamil Nadu, not only in Tamil Nadu, all over state women are against these kind of filthy languages using. That is mainly leader of opposition. That is what we are agitation. That is what
point taken, madam. I completely respect your point. Let me take a quick reaction from my panelists.
One thing I want to say again and again: getting station bail, not in High Court also, Chennai High Court also, getting station bail doesn't mean Udhayanidhi is innocent or he is acquitted.
I know that, madam.
We want to give a lesson because these kind of persons, TVK government, these kind of persons has not continued these such things. TVK has given a lesson in future also.
I know that. I don't disagree with you. I know that. Well, I mean, so there's no disagreement. Sonali, please, Sonali has not spoken. Sonali.
So if I talk about this entire fiasco as a woman, I would say a line has been drawn. But when I talk as a lawyer, I would say the line has been crossed as well. So in a country like India, where there is law, the rule of law should prevail. But yes, as a woman, it's a welcome step. We need to draw the line, and that has to be taken care of.
Wonderful. Mr. Subramaniam, closing comment from you, sir.
See, if whether he crossed the line or not, we'll come to know when this kind of abusive actions are taken.
I said draw the line. Line खींच दी उन्होंने.
No, that is what I'm saying is whether he has drawn the line or not, we'll come to know when he is taking the similar actions. CM Joseph Vijay is taking similar action against any citizens or any politicians if they are using the abusive language against the other gender or against the other individual. Then only we'll come to know whether he has crossed the line or not.
Okay. But at the end of it, my take is any language against women in politics, which is abusive, which is derogatory, is unacceptable. I mean, so whoever that person may be, it is unacceptable. It should be criticized. But the point which Sonali made, I agree with her. But there are ways of going about it. But then this is Indian politics, This is the way Indian politics is, and this is the way it will be. It doesn't change like that. I thank you all of you for joining me on point 1, and to my viewers, please don't go away, because after a short break I'll be back, and in on point 2 we will talk about major steps that FSSI is taking. But after a short break.
Dear bestie, how can I thank you? They say the truest friendships cannot be manufactured. They simply unfold naturally. How true that is for us, bestie. Love from Bestie Collection. Natural diamond bracelets for you and your bestie.
Pushpalata, we need to get the house waterproofed.
But waterproofing is more expensive now. So your new phone, it's cancelled.
Guys, be naya zamana. Birla Opus is giving 10% free paint. So now waterproof your home